Hey everyone, we got Summoner Lenna yesterday, and to all our surprise, she isn't all that bad anymore. Truth be told, I was having a lot of fun making this review before the buffs happened. I had all memes prepared and all, and now that she's actually half decent, I can't do my memes. I had so many cool things in store, but alas, at least she isn't a total dud pull anymore, so that's good. Let's check her out. So in base form, she's an Evoke LB Fire Chainer. In Brave Shift, she, for whatever reason, becomes a Wind debuffer and Breaker. Totally makes sense, but she also is becoming a Dancer in Brave Shift, so I guess. Abilities, nothing too fancy, your standard alum kit, I would say. With a super bad Grandis, only 280 magic, 200 LB, 30% fire wind amp. She does have she does have 2 chaining moves, 1 Graviton Cannon, which is rather similar to Bolting Strike, and her Chaos Wave Awakened frames with Fire Evoke. It's something, I guess. We then have a few passives, not only a few, but quite a lot, because they have to make up for the bad kit. 6x cap right out of the gate, which is nice. She gains static magic, yada yada yada. The Espers, Carbuncle Golem, Tetra, they up the resistances respectively, so light, earth, and wind by 50%. Yeah, other than that, nothing too fancy, to be honest. It's just more of the same, really. Alright. The base LB is what you're looking for. It is buffed compared to the JP server. The JP server, they had a field. We do have that part of the field too, the bottom part here, where it states that it sets up a field with 50% fire resistances to your side of the playing field. On JP, it's both sides, so Lenna actually nerfed your damage from fire teams. Luckily, Gumi isn't that dumb, and they actually changed the field effect. Now, the cool thing is that we have the area of effect to one enemy, 25 fire% imperil, which is rather cool. Sadly, they did not change the evoke damage, so it's still a 70x, which is one of the lower ones from all evokers. But truth be told, I figured a few strats already with Lenna on the team for the next Vision World, for the next Dark Visions. So yeah, I think she might be on our team. So maybe. I haven't mapped it out whether this one is better or the Dark team is going to be better. We'll see, but at least she isn't that bad anymore, so to say. Alright, the Brave Shift, it's honestly more of the same. So you've got your Blessed Water Crystal, which is Fire Wind Amp. Again, same deal from above, from before. She has a 4-fold Magic Nuke, which doesn't do much, honestly. She's got an on-demand 130 Wind Imperil. Can all of a sudden provoke and Mirage 2 attacks. 85 break. So she's basically Ferris, but worse, if you wanted to say so. And the passives, well, truth be told, it's more of the same from the base form. So she does have 200 Beast Killer, 150 Plant Killer. Nice, I guess, but you're not using her for her physical damage, that's for sure. Or her magical damage, so to say. And a Brave Shift LB, it's another 24 hit. Magic asterisk, meaning physical damage killers taken into account, non-elemental though. And yeah, 86 breaks, nobody's going to write home about that one. But the kicker here is 140 wind resistance imperil on top of all things, which is rather nice. But then again, if you're bringing Lenna, you're certainly not running a wind team because her main damage is fire. So whatever alum smoked, I hope they stop smoking that stuff, because apparently they cannot make good units anymore. Or coherent units, one should rather say. Anyway, TMR and STMR, both aren't that bad, honestly. The TMR is a materia, 50 magic and spirit, 30 evo magic, 25 evo damage. It's not the worst, but it's also not the very best. It's still a decent budget option if you're missing the Evoker STMRs, Duty to the World, or Originator of the Final Summoning. Those are obviously better. But if you're lacking those for whatever reason, because those should be wildly available by now, this is a decent option still, nonetheless. The STMR Cloves, 10 defense, 75 magic, 45 spirit, 30 evo magic, 40 evo damage, 100% Esper stats. It's a superb chess piece for all evokers, unless they do lack a lot of LB damage, which then would mean that Shantoto's STMR is still best. But for example, on Yuna, this is best in slot. Summoner Yuna, the premium unit, wants this for best in slot. It ups her damage a bit, about 1%-ish. So that's rather nice to have. However, please keep in mind that evokers, in terms of damage, they aren't really matter. If you're bringing an evoker to a fight, such as Yuna on Anima, you're bringing her for the field effect rather than for the damage. The damage is just a nice bonus. And Lenna will probably fall into that same niche where you bring her for that 25% Imperil field rather than for her damage, especially because you will use her as a chainer and not as an evoker, evoke damage LB chain finisher. So you're gonna just use her Chaos Wave Awakened chain ability rather than her Limit Burst, because the Limit Burst will override Louise's field, for example. The Vision card. There isn't much to say about this, because it's one of the worst Vision cards you can release these days. 80 magic and attack baseline, 40 attack magic passive, 25 LB passive, 300 static attack magic, static attack and magic passive for Final Fantasy V units. And if you directly compare this to another one of those hybrid cards, take Type 0, Final Fantasy Type 0, that one has 100 or 110 attack magic, and it also has more attack magic passive on it and more static attack and magic. So it's a garbage tier card. I don't know why you would ever use this other than on Lenna herself. So yeah, Celeste's card is also a lot better than this. So in the total sense, you're never gonna use this outside Final Fantasy V units. Now let's get to the damage calculations. This is the standard Dark Vision stuff. I added the Field Imperil to this list down here. 25% Field Imperil is on the list now. Other than that, same thing from before. This is an example Lenna build using Trident of the Oracle, Dark Gambanteine, her own Vision card and her own STMR. So the good stuff, I'd say. She can't quite cap all three stats. She's a little bit low on Evo Magic. Maybe there's a way, but this one incorporates the full force Rod Imperil, for example. Alright, this is the damage result. Lenna is still at the bottom of things, barely above Alina and Marquis de Leon. Yuna with 3Z STMR is still wildly stronger, as is Luna Freya with the Staff Imperil and the Yuna STMR buffs. Lenna has not only the STMR buff from Yuna, but also Yuna's 30x modifier increase here, and she's still that bad. So in terms of damage, totally forgettable. You will most likely not, or certainly not, bring her for the damage, because Yuna and Luna Freya are a lot better than her. So yeah, the one thing I do want to point out is, now that we are accounting for a 25 Imperil field, Tybus is our #1 DPS, which assumes that you have room to fit in his STMR, which you probably won't. It's a 380x. However, keep in mind, it's outside his natural killers. You will most likely not be able to do this one. So when it comes to real world application, Tybus will not be on a rank 1, and it's still going to be Avalanche Tifa who is taking the rank 1 spot. Nonetheless, Angela is now in every single case above Sephiroth, which is rather interesting. But keep in mind, the moment we get a 25% field imperil for Dark, and only on the enemy side of things, Sephiroth's damage will explode. However, there is nothing like that coming in the next few weeks or months, unless global changes things again, which is rather which is rather not happening, I guess. Unlikely, that is the word I was looking for. Anyway, still looking decent, nothing really changed other than Tyvus being number one number inflated due to absolutely best in case scenario for him, but oh well. I guess you get the gist of it. So how does she fare in the meta? Well, obviously Lenna will make fire teams even stronger, and if you are looking for a fire team that is going to incorporate Louise, you might as well bring Lenna. She is going to do some damage, but then you have units such as Tidus, Angela, Lara Croft, Tyvus, Sephiroth. All of them can deal tremendous amounts of damage, especially Angela, Sephiroth, Tyvus. They will shred through everything, literally everything. Tifa obviously too, if you can give her true double hand. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much the fire team, or how well the fire team fares against the dark team that we've used against Anima last time around. I haven't mapped that out, to be honest, because after about 600 variance runs on Anima, I don't want to see dark visions for the next 2 weeks, honestly. So, but the assumption is there, and math kind of checks out that a fire team is going to be a very, very, very viable option going forward. And luckily, we do have fire weakness on the next Slash boss, so that's going to be interesting. Other than that, the Wind Mage stuff, it's kind of irritating. Her kit is mostly useless outside the Wind Imperil and the Field Imperil. Damage is relevant. She's an Evoker, which should tell you a lot about her already. She will say play in mainly Dark Visions to boost fire damage teams. Regarding Clash, maybe. So yeah, shut your pull. I mean, if you want to score highly in Dark Vision and use fire teams, go ahead. Keep in mind that one copy is actually enough, because that first copy at EX+0 does all you need. Again, the difference between EX+3 and EX+0 literally is that you have access to the Brave Shift, which isn't all that needed, and more static magic, blah blah blah. But truth be told, you can also just treat her as a super limit burst unit and keep her at EX+0, because all you really want from her is that field. You get that at EX0, and the Chaos Wave Awaken chaining, which you also get at EX+0. So that is all you need, actually. And she's more than serviceable in Dark Visions, and also in Vision World, where Angela will reign supreme anyway. So Angela plus Lenna, it's a great combo, and one that you will probably see hopefully next month when we get the Legend of Mana Vision World. I put this probably not going to see much play in Clash, unless, and that unless means we kind of run another fire team. And if you remember my Clash clear from last month, I used a Wind team and I used Faris on this. Now, since I also used Mughal Narsh for the Imperil field, so there's multiple options. And, well, Lenna could be on a fire team, for example. So that is why this unless is in there. There is a chance whenever you bring a fire team and you have that one spot open that kind of feels like, should I bring in another supporter or not? Well, Lenna could make the cut here, so I wouldn't rule it out that she may or may not see some use in Clash, especially because she's a Brave Shift unit. But all in all things considered, she is a nice to have unit, not a must have. Will she help you beat content faster in a fire team? Most certainly. Is she super needed? Nah, we'll be fine without her. And that is a good closing comment, I guess, to Summoner Lenna. So thank you all for watching. I hope this helped you make an educated decision whether or not to pull for Lenna. We'll see each other tomorrow for the Dorgan review. See you then. Bye bye.